Greetings. Greetings, everyone. It is live. It is Angelo Robles here at a Monday night. I am back from my travels in LA. Incredible around the Milken, multiple conferences, hosting lunches. At the end, we'll catch up a little bit about that and what's ahead. But this has been building because I haven't done a live, if you're watching live on Monday night, in so long that it's really exciting to be here. And I'm going to do something that I've never done before, but I understand that some of you are visual. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk, well, of course, but I'm going to do it in a PowerPoint format. So those of you that are at a computer, but even a phone, and maybe a little more visual. And by my standards, I'm going to keep this relatively short, look for some audience interaction, and share a little bit about the insight of some of the things where I came back to from my West Coast travels within the family office community. I use StreamYard as my core platform. There are some bandwidth issues. Let's cross our fingers and hope it holds up in my 30 to 35 minutes. But effectively, without further ado, in the first time ever doing this on StreamYard, I am going to go into PowerPoint format. And if you could give me 2 seconds. All right, here we go. So I could see it may be a little cut off, but my core part of the presentation is I'm not really commenting on AI in the family office and finance. I'm actually living through it. And I wanted to have the opportunity to share, and this is very much high level, a mini presentation that I believe on the intersection of AI and family offices is going to be very, very valuable to many of you. And at the end, and I'll probably go off PowerPoint to make it a little bit more interactive with me visually and interactive with the audience, I'll share a couple of case studies as well. Again, keeping it high level, but showing you really in just the last 30 days how much has changed, including now with Jamie Dimon and in the world of finance. There's so much going on. Why don't we effectively get right to it? And sorry if I see as I'm doing the PowerPoint on screen, it may not be a perfect representation of the beautiful PowerPoint that I designed with my image, one getting in the way, and some of the formatting gets a little askewed. But I think for some of you that are more visual, this will be helpful. And I mentioned I want to start with the iconic Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. So AI in financial services really just last Tuesday, kind of everything changed. Imagine Jamie Dimon himself in New York on stage with Dario Amodei, of course, you all know by now, the CEO and co-founder of Anthropic, sharing the stage, highlighting in under a week ago how much has changed in the world of really with Anthropic Claude, AI agents, and organizations like JP Morgan, which very quietly, them and other banks have been massive users of a lot of these services. Well, and don't listen to their misdirects, what they may say on certain things. Really, it's more important in terms of what they do. So no surprise, Jamie talks about how the AI industry, the build out is obviously trillions and trillions and trillions and more of dollars, but shared his personal experience using Claude Code, Jamie Dimon himself, to build a financial dashboard in just 20 minutes. I mean, I can't be making this up. I've been waiting for this to happen for so long to see the proof for many of you with people of his stature and organizations like that using it. Now, they're one of the companies that has that early access to the so-called iconic Claude mythos. Hopefully, we'll all find out about it soon. But apparently, it's what's so powerful and so dangerous for cybersecurity that governments and Claude have really kind of kept it under wraps, working with organizations to flesh things out. But maybe we'll catch up on that a little bit more later. So here's the core point. Anthropic revealed, or on this, they got out there 10, not one, 10 purpose-built AI agents for financial services. Imagine something like a pitch builder, which they actually call it, an earnings reviewer, a model builder, a valuation reviewer, a month-end closer, a statement auditor, a KC screener, KYC, I'm sorry, and much more. We are now living where AI is automating workflows. Big banks are going to be using this. They're going to be obviously using it in terms of with their clients. And this is something that's going to be truly significant for family offices. Myself, I use it, am starting to use it, learning it. Hey, it's a learning process. You got to put in the time to get the value out of it. Again, there is no question now more than ever. My comment, AI helps family offices do more, better, and faster. And perhaps sadly, but let's just face reality and not try to beat around the bush, more with less, better, and faster. I myself prefer more sovereign programs where I don't bleed my IP, where they can't pull it from me because I don't own the underlying platform. But today is not the day. I've done others where we talk more about Hermes, OpenClaw, open weight models, and taking more control of that process. But I understand for many of you, that's a little bit too deep, granular, and a little bit more hands-on than you would like. But of course, we have answers for that as well. But certainly, the Anthropic suite, including their models, including Claude Code, and what they're doing, my God, their new design feature, have you done it yet? And what they're doing in everything, which is why you should be subscribing to the highest level, because really it's a powerhouse. And now with Jamie Dimon on stage. Now, one reality is that Wall Street as we know it, no surprise here, is going to be completely upended. This is just a reality from a variety of different perspectives. This actually puts more horsepower, more resources by far in the hands of everyone, especially a family office that wants to take the action and use it, than the most powerful, largest family offices, financial institutions really maybe just had 2 months ago, let alone obviously coming out of COVID 5 or 6 years ago. Now is the time. The reason is, do you just keep on waiting for the next iPhone to come out? Then you're going to be stuck in an old model that goes back 3, 4, or 5 years. You're not going to be upgraded and get some of the resources, and you're not going to have the compounding. That's the big thing here about jumping into AI now, whether in the world of finance, family offices, legal accounting. It really doesn't matter what it is. You're an entrepreneur. I don't care. Whatever it is, there is no question. This is of immediate value to you now. And you're going to see a stark shift in Wall Street and changes in the world of financial services and family offices by like never before. And there is no question. The release, not even a week ago, of these 10 internal agents at your resources now that you could use in the world of finance is truly incredible, as opposed to building it and starting it from scratch. So, and again, pardon some of the, I meant to make this visual and somehow the PowerPoint gets a little askewed in a presentation. That is life. So while I was in LA, a person very prominent approached me after hearing my AI presentation. And why don't I call it, they might be in their 70s, they might be in the 80s. But if you're in the world of finance or private equity, you heard of these two names, iconic names. These men built their reputations over decades on networks, balance sheets, 40+ year career. They spend, her words, not mine, 2 hours a day utilizing a variety of AI tools and resources. Just think, the people who need it the least, they are DECA-billionaires. They are older gentlemen. They are long since established. And they, to keep their mind fresh, to be cutting edge, to help integrate with their children, in their case, their grandchildren, maybe even great-grandchildren. Like, these are the resources that they're using, and they're the people that need it the least. They're already worth, forget $1 billion or 10 billion, like deca-billions. And this is straight from the horse's mouth. And boy, she went on and gave me other insights, which is why I'll get to LA and coming back from Milken in a little while. So now think about it. The principal, or whatever, the entrepreneur, the executive, 50 years old, running a sophisticated operation, they have decades of consequential decisions, likely every day, still ahead of them. And you're not using this yet you're hearing Jamie Dimon, the iconic CEO of JP Morgan, using it on stage with Dario himself. You're hearing me talk about it. You're hearing some family offices actively talk about it. You got the two older gentlemen that are icons in the world of finance doing multiple hours a day. And you're just putting in what, a one sentence prompt into like an older version of Chat GPT. Like, again, you're at a higher level, more than likely. I don't know who's in the audience. Your peers that are older than you are actively using it. So think about it this way. When I talk about the future of family offices, you understand that AI will never be worse than it is today. Now, a little bit of the joke, speaking of Anthropic Claude, is maybe Claude 4.7, the latest model, might be worse than 4.6. Now, there's factors and reasons behind that that will make its way into other new developments that we'll talk a little bit about, but you get it. Effectively, it'll never be weaker than it is today. The family office, until really very recently, was built often to administer complexity. Right now, the family office, the world of finance, you need it to command intelligence, to anticipate threats before they surface. How about surfacing will be more optimistic? Opportunities. It's not all threats and risk. Although, when you get to that level of wealth, those are obviously going to be of grave concerns. You're capturing, in some ways, judgment, as I wrote out, that took a lifetime to build, institutional knowledge. And you want it, don't you, with your family office, your heirs, to outlast you. One of the great things that a family of great wealth passes on, and money does come with some burdens and challenges. I know, hard for some of you to believe. It's just a reality. The biggest value you pass on, from my perspective, and take this lesson also from the two quote unquote older gentlemen referenced earlier, obviously Forbes 100, it's your mindset, your ability to keep on learning, and your network as much as your resources. I know you've heard that before, but in my multiple decades of being in this business, and even I doubted that at first, it is 100% true. I'm not saying that resources don't provide education, a lifestyle, schooling, all those things are impactful. I'm not denying that. But to deny the greater importance from my perspective, and I'm a finance guy at heart, it does come down a little bit to black and white with money for me. But the reality is, when including in LA, and I'll share some of those stories, but broadly, I may say some for my members. I got a special program for them coming up on Wednesday. But I'm telling you, mindset, connections, and the fact that you could effectively do anything. And now the resources effectively have equaled the playing field. And yet many of you, and I mean many of you, like 99, maybe 99.9%, are not acting on it. So catching up in some other news, which is impactful for the discussion today, Anthropic and SpaceX. Now, many of you have heard of this one. They closed the deal. Energy, compute effectively. Energy was the big problem. My God, many of you that use the AIs, technically LLMs, and it's been frustrating with Claude, frustrating that you get time limits and you got to buy more credits, and like it's spending a lot of money, and many of you don't know how to prompt and use it properly to extract value out of it. I don't play around with AI. It provides value to me in multiple perspectives, including effectively making more money. So this is huge with the Colossus that SpaceX and XAI has. Now that advanced one, number two, but giving number one, well, I'm not giving it away. My God, they're making a truckload of money on it. But a great move for both companies, and kudos to Anthropic too, for moving forward with this and solving at a cost what's been a major problem for them. So as I noted already in my bullet point number two, Anthropic released the 10, and it's never going to be worse than it is today. 10 pre-built finance agent templates as native plugins. OpenAI shipped their Codex CLI v.0. It's amazing. So I've been dabbling desktop with my highest level of OpenAI. What I'm doing in the 5.5, it's great. It's a big upgrade over 5.4. And what I'm doing with coding as a competitor to Claude Code, and certain things where I think it's better. Claude Mythos, it's still in that restricted preview. I hinted at that a little bit earlier, but that is coming. Claude Managed Agents, which relates a little bit to, again, Jamie and Dario being on stage, what I referenced earlier. It's big, big news. Perplexity's personal computer, what they call it, $200 a month and access to like 19 different programs. You don't want to get tied into one. You want the opportunity to know how to prompt, to have the systems battle each other for the best answer. But even then, what I'm talking about is AI chatting. But I feel like I'm chatting if you know how to use it with brilliance. But eventually, and that eventually is here, it has to go to doing things. Doing things. You got me as a 60-year-old 6 months ago with not 1 second of engineering help, creating my own app and getting it on the App Store. I'm not saying it's that good, but I did it. And it is so much easier now. I didn't use Claude Code. That would have made my life so much easier. And Claude Code now, compared to what it was 3 or 4 months ago, it's just so much better. Coupled with the Claude Managed Agents, the competition from OpenAI, the two announcements, what I mentioned about the finance agents, there is so much going on. I've had to update my 2 books for my members, both now about 170 pages on AI and AI integration for family offices. I pretty much probably have to do it every 3 days, but that would totally consume me. I'm up to about once every 3 weeks now. On the plane back from LA, I spent the 5 or 6 hours updating both books. And just yesterday, I got that, third, fourth update in the last 2 months out to my members. I can't keep up. And I don't sleep much. And I'm on top of this all the time. It is overwhelming in terms of many of the things that I'm seeing now. And some of the open weight models, I mentioned Kimmy here, incredible. You need to have a real powerhouse computer to really host their full program, and that's more high-level Mac Studio and other platforms, the DGX Spark. Let's not get a little too caught in the weeds of some of the hardware issues now. But there, again, there's just so much happening and so much coming out. I know I said it. I think you need to hear it again. AI will never be weaker than it is today. You, no matter what you do, I don't care what it is, electrical contractor, plumber, whatever, be the most aggressive user in your field. My God, you got the 270, 80, they're really over 80 DECA-billionaires doing it multiple hours a day and being darn fluid in it from what I heard. So again, they're using it, but you're just putting in 1-sentence prompts and not being satisfied with the answer. And I get it. These LLMs could be frustrating. Some basic things, they sometimes do leave you scratching their head. And it's sad that 4.7 on Opus is not as good. I don't believe, as some people will debate that as 4.6, but they're correcting that. They acknowledged it. And no question, Dario is an incredible CEO. They're my overall favorite of the frontier platforms, but I'm telling you, this Chat GPT 5.5 and what they're doing in coding, it's wonderful as a competitor. And Grok and Gemini and the other open weight platforms fulfill their purpose for me. Okay, a little bit of hyperbole here, but I think only a little bit. And Michael Saylor said something like this as well. It's like you have multiple Einsteins at your call 24/7, 168 hours a week. And you, broadly, you are using them to what? Craft your emails a little better. What are you doing? It is incredible if you know how to prompt, leverage all of them, have them battle, and there's a skill to that. I get it. And in my masterclass, in my books for my members, you learn all the inside secrets that the best people I know in the world and my experiences are doing at it. But you have this power at your beck and call. Now, okay, Einstein's IQ above 160. Angelo, I heard the best LLMs are still about 138 to 144. It's the worst it's ever going to be today. What's it going to be in 3 months? What happens when Mythos comes out? What happens at the end of the year, next year? You don't think it's going to blow by those numbers? Is it a little more linear? Sure. It's going to do some things with more broad knowledge better than Einstein ever could. Is it going to be as good as him in certain principles of mathematics? No. At the moment, we're getting there. We're getting there. You have this resource that you don't quite know how to harness. Again, while back in 1901, the answer was faster horses. Well, no, the answer was something totally different. Henry Ford and others building cars. Like, you have to adapt. If you're in the world of knowledge-based work, which is a lot in the family office world, in the world of finance, legal, accounting, and much others, you will get steamrolled over if you're not going to be the best that you could be using these resources right now and compounding that knowledge. Now, I hinted at this one a little bit earlier, what I call the AI revolution, from exclusive to ambiguous. So, talking a little bit about it, 5 years ago, I mean, like 2 years ago, but okay, let's be a little bit more broad and say 5. The AI capabilities that we were discussing or are discussing right now were not available, no matter who you were. Imagine top tier entities, the Mars family, the Pritzkers, the Rockefellers, the Habsburgs, these iconic families with many, many billions and billions of dollars. The most institutional sovereign grade family office lacked the resources for often a couple of $100 a month that are available to you at this moment. AI, as we know it, with the launch of ChatGPT, was November of 2022, like 3.5 years ago. Like, you got to be kidding me. The advancements, especially in the last 6 to 7 months, have been incredible. You absolutely have the resources that the best of the best, even just a couple of years ago, did not have. And you're wasting this. Again, you're wasting it on a level often, honestly, of arrogance and ego. Behind that is ignorance and fear, normal human emotions. We all have them. And thinking that, no, I went to college, I'm smart, I'm successful, I'm really good at what I do. And I believe you are. I don't believe you're average. Of course not. My audience, you're great. But do you think you would be greater? You would be able to do more with less, better, and faster, and focus on things that could put your true brain and your creativity to work better by understanding these resources, having the compounding of knowledge, and make you not only more employable, both now and in the future, but simply making more money, creating more opportunities, no matter what you are, servicing the community that I love, the family office community, or working in it as an executive. I'm gonna let me maybe X out of I may leave that screen holding on a little bit and go over a little bit of some of the case studies. So, and I'll keep them quick. Due diligence. Imagine a seller sells a vertical software company for $480 million. Good for him or her. Overnight, institutional complexity, but no institutional operating system. The whole value of a great family office. They might have 3 advisors, 2 banks, an outsourced CFO, multiple estate attorneys, a growing pipeline of direct deals. Everyone's bombarding them, especially their banks, everyone at the country club, the golf course. Every person in the room is probably smart, but no one really has the complete picture. Before AI, evaluating a single operating business, often, I mean, I know I've done it, took often weeks. And you're pulling comps, summarizing the diligence, reviewing it could be, in this example, customer concentration, building downside models, checking regulatory exposure, chasing advisor comments across email threads, employee agreements. There's a million things. Direct deals are really hard. Most of the time, it's not analysis. It's really coordination that's an issue. The family built a diligence layer around effectively its own mandate, its own risk preferences, its own prior decisions, its own liquidity constraints, its own governance rules. Now, every inbound deal runs through a more consistent sequence, a document intake, entity extraction, market mapping, important, competitor scan, concentration analysis, litigation search, financial model review, scenario stress testing, red team memos and work internally, very important. Within 72 hours, the principal now has maybe a first pass at an investment memo. A red team gave the critique internally with AI. A list of open diligence questions. Of course, there'll be some. A sensitivity analysis, a counterparty reputation scan, a governance fit note, and a partner ready summary for the investment committee. The AI does not make the call. I got you as of now, but it builds the battlefield map. So judgment starts from a complete picture. Again, do more, better, and faster with less resources. That's flat out. They're not starting on a blank page. The real shift is not even necessarily faster research. It is moving from waiting on advisors to kind of uh, get things together to commanding that synthesis kind of first. And when bringing advisors into a conversation where the family is already informed, hey, listen, I got multiple I could give you to keep this a little more interactive. Why don't we do one more? But really, if I had to keep this really in short, I hate to say anything a human could do, but anything that is strictly based on analysis and knowledge work, it's going to be really, really hard for you to stand out right now. Imagine in 6 months or a year. But if you know how to harness these resources, how to use them, it's going to be an incredible advantage to you as an entrepreneur, a family member, a rising generation family member who may be more active in the family business, enterprise, finance, and family office, the executive in the family office, the person who wants to work in the family office, and the person that services the family office. It is so obvious. Yet as I travel the world, and absolutely do, the resistance, and I go a little bit back to arrogance and ego being a part of it, is really getting in the way. Don't have that be you. It doesn't have to. And there are wonderful and easier for solutions for you to upgrade. I mean, really within, well, I could argue 2 days, but within a month. This doesn't take forever. And the compounding impact you'll get, I think, will be enormous. So institutional memory, that's important in a family office. 4th-generation family, operating businesses, real estate, private equity, trust, philanthropic entities, exposure often across multiple jurisdictions. The problem is never lack of device. It is that perhaps no one can find anything. Decades, imagine, of board minutes, trust documents, investment memos, estate plans, tax positions, family meeting notes, committee meeting notes, investment committee notes, etc., operating company records, prior advisory recommendations, all of it scattered across usually multiple shared drives, inboxes, law firm portals, those are always fun, trustee files, and the memories of a few people. As humans, our memories we get a lot of things that get in our way. It may be a little clouded, or we misrepresent it, if that's the right word I'm looking for. The knowledge kind of exists, but it's not really accessible at the moment. It often matters. And sometimes in these things, speed does matter. Before AI, a simple governance question like, why did we structure this entity this way? Or what precedent did we set with the second branch of the family? I don't know. It may take weeks to answer. That might be unacceptable because the institutional record was scattered and completely unsearchable. The family built a controlled knowledge architecture, no sensitive documents going into the consumer tools. The system ingests historical materials, organizes them by entity, branch, jurisdiction, decision type, advisor, asset class, risk category, and governance implications. A private AI layer lets the family office query its own history effectively to do it in plain language. Now a trustee can check precedent before making a discretionary distribution, let's say. A next generation family member preparing for a board seat can study the family's actual investment decisions, not textbook case studies about someone else's family. The principal can pressure test whether a new proposal aligns with historical intent and current risk exposure. This is not just AI for documents. This is turning trapped institutional knowledge into something the family, the entrepreneur, the principal, the executives can actually use, converting scattered archives into effectively living operational memory. So again, if it's done in knowledge work, how can I not replicate at least maybe 80 to 90% of what I need right now? And now, what I mentioned earlier with Jamie and Dario up on stage and these 10 new finance agents, which again, it's never going to be worse than it is today. This is all happening very, very rapidly. I myself will tell you my constitution, mission, vision statements, what I do internally for family, and hopefully soon structuring a non regulated private trust company. All of it for me. These documents and governance has become so much easier with the resources that I know how to use, like driving a Ferrari. You got to know how to drive it and get the most out of it. And again, it's working for me potentially with my open clause and things that I utilize, including some of the frontier models. I'll be more experimenting in some of the Claudes that I mentioned earlier, or what Claude is doing with some of the 10 managed agents, 168 hours a week. I'm getting research on my desk from desk as if I use that these days, but you get the picture of it. In the morning when I wake up, before my coffee or green tea or matcha hits, like I'm getting the resources from what happened in Asia, what happened around the world, how that may make a decision for what I'm doing in my portfolio, my liquid portfolio, hedging risk, etc. Yes, someone asking, is this is live? You may watch this as a recording after the fact, but right at this very moment at 8:01 Eastern time, yes, I am live. And bring on the questions, bring on the comments. I'm happy to field them. There's so many other case studies and examples that apparently is important for a lot of you, taking maybe what's more abstract and bringing it into, reality. And that's how I use it. And now I get it. And at my masterclass, this is Anchor, and even my books that I wrote relative to my members only are dedicated to, showing the steps you need to take, how to think things through, first principles thinking, etc. But then actual case studies that help most of us, including me, tie things together in a better way so we could understand in practicality and everyday usage how we can actually use it. So tomorrow, I'm going to digitally be in Australia. My friend Richard, who runs the most prominent group in Australia for family offices, I've known him for decades, invited me. They're doing an AI symposium for probably 70 or 80 incredible family offices. He's great, his brother and the whole team there in Australia. And I'll be one of the 30, 35-minute presenters, and not with this PowerPoint that apparently gets a little choppy and cut off. I'm going to have to revamp that. And they want more case studies. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The fact that they got that many families in Australia, and like all of them like above $1 billion, really, really prominent families. And again, it's never going to get weaker than it is today. Your peers, your competitors to some degree on a variety of things, like they're starting to latch on to this. And whether you're an advisor internally in a family office, a family member, or rising gen, you ignoring this, don't do that. It won't end well for you. And I don't want to see that happen. Now, tomorrow at 4:00 Eastern, I'm doing more of a concentrated webinar. Maybe if you send me an email, I could send you an invite to that. That is going to be somewhat AI centric, but not the visual PowerPoint that I'm doing here. Maybe I'll make that more case study heavy as well. I didn't totally kind of mentally script and map that out yet, but we got a lot of people signed up for that. I don't know. Something about the spring is like waking people up more so to AI, which is a good thing. Wednesday, I'm doing for members only, sharing 30 public equity positions that I hold in picks and shovels in AI. My poker games with my hedge fund manager friends in Greater Greenwich, Connecticut, did tremendous ideas in investing when I was in LA with multiple of the families that I met. So I do look forward to that. So briefly about LA, it was great to be around Milken. It was great to speak at multiple sessions for uncorrelated alts and to lead the closing keynote, Charlie Gasparino of Fox News. Oh man, that was so much fun. Geopolitics, Trump, the economy, the debt, a little bit of AI. We went over so many different things, what's happening even in cannabis, not something I'm that fluid in, but some of the new regulations on the federal level and some of the new tax advantages. He was the person that also recently interviewed BZ. Sometimes I always CZ in terms of what he's doing in crypto, but I asked him a question I probably can't even say here digitally. It could be a little too sensitive and probably get the video taken down, but brought the house down a little bit at the event. But the person, Charlie, that I interviewed stayed cool and calm and answered it. I had a different perspective, but that's okay. Led a breakout on investing for family offices, hosted a soiree, got invited to a couple of great parties, met some incredible people. I was so fortunate, including young upcoming entrepreneurs, which I love to meet. That's always fun. And I hosted 2 lunches, AI centric on utilization for family offices. One, a really big single family office was there, and great feedback and some of their reluctance. I want to get questions that challenge it, that challenge the assumption. I don't want to get caught in an echo chamber. Those are always thing as someone who's active, thinking things through and talking and doing active debates on other issues, not as much investing per se or AI, although I've done some on those as well. It's always great to hear smart people that think things through, that have a different perspective and pop me out of echo chambers, which is always a good thing. But the insight that I got from families on what's important to them and how they may have underestimated AI from a workflow and a day-to-day perspective. And this was right about the time the announcement of Jamie and Dario up on stage in New York and the release of those 10 incredible internal agents at Claude that you could all use and learn right now. It's like right there. But the opportunity of hearing about generational challenges, one mother brought her 2 daughters. That was incredible, kind of taking over the family office. The insight that younger people under 30 have on the perspective of their parents or grandparents' family office. Wake up, executives. There's lots of changes coming. Some of the investment discussions were incredible. A lot of people out there are hardcore real estate investors. Getting some of their feedback to some of the things that I talk about and hearing them was very valuable to me. A couple of international families from Asia and Europe were there. And it was a tremendous opportunity for me to ask questions and to learn, which is really what I love about travel in so many different ways, and never feel that I ever want to use that word, quote, I hate the word expert. Please bury me in that white belt. I always want to be a lifelong learner. And I think I learn as much from all these incredible people. They don't all need to be entrepreneurs and family offices. Really, everyone that I meet does something, often many things better than me that I could learn from. And being friendly and being open-minded and just asking people about themselves is very valuable. Now, yes, I did go a couple of times to the incredible Grand Havana Room, had incredible cigars with my friend Casey and some others, got invited to some incredible parties, heard a young up-and-coming hip hop artist who was really talented. He's probably going to be pretty amazing. No pictures were allowed. It was a very closed setting, but I promised I did see it and hear it in terms of with my ears. So just a great experience, but it's great to be back. It's great to have multiple breakfast and lunches that I have planned for my members in Greater Greenwich in New York in the coming weeks. Weather finally, I think, is getting a little better. We'll do a little bit of Jackson Hole time, maybe Montana this summer as well. So look forward to that. And come on, I can't have a conversation about AI and upcoming in the summer and all these changes that are occurring without mentioning, rather honestly, the answers are in front of you in a little over a month away. June 23rd and 24th in New York is my AI Family Office Masterclass. It applies to entrepreneurs, to executives in a family office, rising gen, bring your children, and those that service the community. I updated my website, so go to angelorobles.com, my homepage, my membership page, my AI family office, all of that updated. I guess I had too much plane time. And this weekend I was very busy. Did make the announcement for my forum for members in New York, September 15th and 16th. But the really important one that I want to focus on that is life-changing is my AI Family Office Masterclass. Many of you by now know about it. Now is the time. Imagine getting this. You instantly, as a member, get my multiple books, but especially my two recently updated on AI integration and everything that I do, even OpenClaw, Hermes, what I do on the open weight models. It really sets the foundation for you to be more prepared than heading into the masterclass. If you happen to miss that one, there'll be another later in the summer and another in the fall, and then hopefully early first quarter this time in 27 in Florida. So taking it on the road from greater New York. A chance, the second one this year, we hosted a members ranch in Montana that may be mid to late September as well. So my members, simply stay tuned on that. That would be a lot of fun. But I promise you, the books, the pre-planning, the 2 days at that masterclass, and some post follow-up, I have incredible instructors, and I'm not half bad at it myself, will change your life. I would recommend, if you're a member, bringing another family member, bringing a quasi-adult child, at least above 16, I hope, and they're going to be even more intuitive to a lot of this than you. And that's what multiple people did at the 3 that I hosted last year. So again, it's all up on the website. It's easy to click and join and just be a part of it. Now, yeah, you got to join. You got to pay to be a member. It's an exclusive membership. Way more than just a masterclass is my proprietary books, resources, private videos like the one I'm doing Wednesday with the members, and sharing and connecting them as peers and kind of connecting the dots. But all the programs that I host, from apparently now my trip to obviously Wyoming, but to Montana, to the Cayman Islands, to Vienna, to Mexico City, to New York, to Greenwich, to Palm Beach, Miami, LA, where I just came back from. All of this is on tap for you as a member. All of it. And man, this year is going to be, my God, we're already, about 40% through? I can't believe it. So just imagine going through that My AI Masterclass, the books, the AI Masterclass, and some of the hand-holding for a week or two, or longer if you really need it, after. The position that you're going to be in while we're barely in the summer. The summer, officially begins on June 22nd? Like, by July 4th, you're going to be at another level. And we're still relatively early in summer then. And then maybe attend the second one to have it soak in more. And the people you're going to meet, the peers, the instructors, the best in the world at integration of finance, family offices, and AI, this is all ready for you, already pre-built and ready. By early summer, the edge that you will have, I'm still finding most family offices, I don't know, on a scale of 1 to 10 for operational and practice management use of AI, probably still about a 1.5 or 2. You're going to blow that away by July 4th. You'll probably at least be at a 6 or 7. Put in the work. You'll be whatever I'm doing. There's nothing special about me. I'm resilient and I work hard. You could do that. You have the intelligence for this. And how valuable to you is accelerating your knowledge? Do you want to go through the 400 to 600 hours that I did? Or would you prefer to have that accelerated radically, maybe 100 to 1, and placed in your fingertips with the right resources and people that I didn't have a year and a half, 2 years ago? And this is all available to you now. You just have to be a member. And again, angelorobles.com, somewhat updated, new and sleek, is already at explaining that. So jump on board, become a member, and yes, the AI Family Office Masterclasses are a very, very important part of this. Well, hopefully you can hear my passion behind it. It's great to be back from the travels, and just the follow-up and number of Zooms and calls and that I have with some incredible family principals and executives, and just so many that I don't know. I've been in this community for decade, after a little bit more than that. And I still feel like it's like touching 1% of the incredible people that are so successful and leaders at what they do, even after all my global travels and time in this community. And it's incredible. I'm so excited. I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm at. I love what I do. I want to be here of service, which is first and foremost in terms of how I think. to the community that I love, that I've been in for multiple decades, and being future forward and seeing how things are radically changing and wanting you to be very, very careful not to get stuck in the world that was. I don't want that to happen to you. So, everyone, I hope you're enjoying my LinkedIn and YouTubes and X, and I do enjoy providing value. But going to a far other level is going to angelorobles.com and simply joining. Within 24 hours, you're onboarded by me. You get my proprietary content. It's a bit of a fire hose, I'll admit that. We then schedule a call or Zoom, often by the second or third day that you join or since you joined. We'll get you locked in, if you want, to that masterclass in New York, AI in June 23rd and 24th, and let me rock your world and change your life. And the incredible families, entrepreneurs, and people that you're going to meet. We got people coming in from Europe for that June 23rd and 24th. I was on the gentleman's boat when I was in Palm Beach in mid-March, hosting my 4 days there. It was a pretty darn impressive boat. My God, when I heard for a party, it held 5,000 beers, like it really kind of woke me up, like, wow. And I'm all ready, because Palm Beach is my baby. Those 4 days, I technically make it 5 with more social interactions heading into March of 2027. I'm already in conversations with the colonies and the breakers, the Ben and other amazing facilities, Churchill Cigars, of course, someone asked, in Palm Beach. So it's not too early. No. I want to be at Art Basel this year. I got another program I'm doing with Uncorrelated Family Office Day in late January. There is so much going on. I just want you to come on board. You could always reach out to me. Email is angelo@angelorobles.com. The website, obviously, angelorobles.com. The formal membership organization entity has the incredible, unique name of SFO Continuity. Not the best name in the world, but the continuity part, and SFO is the acronym for Single Family Office. But the continuity part's the important part. And yes, AI is going to play a very, very important role in all of this. Forget the decades to come. That's like right now, through the end of this year, the next year, these upcoming years through the 2020s are so important. This is the time. And I want your knowledge to compound. You're going to start now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate some of the kind comments and sometimes the unkind comments, but I didn't get any yet, but give it a long enough time frame. I have some other thoughts about that too, with a sovereign risk, disaster preparedness, counterparty risk. Again, I'm not all AI, but AI plays into some of those things as well. I mean, come on, for me, I'm in love when I put on my Peter Drucker mode and I'm practice management and operations in the family office. I love creating and restructuring. I love the dynamic aspect of looking around the world and like, what should people do with banking, with their assets, with gold, with Bitcoin, with real estate? There's so much going on from a geopolitical perspective, and given a long enough time frame, like what is safe? What bank is safe? What country? What custodian? In a long enough time frame, you're really not going to like that answer. And that's another 700-page handbook. It's not quite ready yet for my members. Late July, everyone, members, late July, but my sovereign risk and disaster preparedness will answer. And then that's going to need to be updated every 3 weeks. So again, I love AI. It's going to be horizontal to everything. It's the most immediate driver for many of you to enhance capability and results right now. But the family office and finance world is so much deeper and broad than that, from structuring to taxes, to family dynamics, to governance, to conflict, to private trust companies. Another thing that I love, the lender versus IRS. Oh, there's so many different things within the family office world. And yes, I can't think of much where AI is not going to be at least somewhat impactful to much of it. Everyone, I'm Angelo Robles. I hope you had a chance to enjoy it. Please reach out, provide feedback. Go to angelorobles.com to learn more. I appreciate all of you. It's going to be a busy week, at least mainly more so for my members this week. And I do look forward. It's great to be back in the saddle, so to speak, but really in the saddle in Wyoming in a couple of more months. But nonetheless, where I am now has many, many charms as well. Yes, someone is asking. I already had a cigar today, but I got one in my mind on tap for tomorrow. But tomorrow, I'm doing again that private program at 4, and then the program for the group in Australia at about 7:30 to 8:30 my time, where it'll be the morning Wednesday there. So a busy week ahead. Thank you all so much. Thanks for the kind comments. Look forward to next time. Thank you.